Welcome to the Manning Up on Real Estate podcast. This is the podcast where we will have real talk on what is happening in the local market of Greater Vancouver. Here we'll discuss the news, strategies, and interviews to help you man up on your real estate career. I'm your host, Cameron Manning. All right, everyone, welcome back to the Manning Up on Real Estate podcast. I hope you guys have had a great couple of weeks here. Now, if you're in the lower mainland, we've been suffering a little bit of snow, but it's not the worst thing in the world. I'm sure you guys have gotten past that, and we're moving into spring. I hope you guys are excited for that. And I'm really excited today because I've got another amazing guest here. I'd like to introduce you guys to Jill Sinclair. Jill, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much for having me, Cam. I am so excited because I'm seeing your trajectory. Your star is just going up, 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 and I'm so excited to be here.
I appreciate that. Thank you so much. So Jill and I, we've known each other for a few years now.
Yeah, not intimately, but we do know each other.
There you go. There we go. We're going down a rabbit hole now. So Jill and I actually met way back when we were going down to Mega Camp in Austin, Texas. I want to say maybe 3 years ago now.
Yeah, 3 to 4 years ago, yeah.
3 to 4 years ago, yeah.
And that was with Keller Williams at the time, yeah.
That's right, yeah. You were with Keller Williams out in Burnaby, and I'm Keller Williams out of Poco.
Yeah.
But, you know, at the time, we didn't have a lot of people that came down from our brokerage, and you guys had a lot, so it was kind of exciting. You guys were like, come join me. Yeah. And I got to know Jill quite well from there, and she really loves working with realtors. Is that right?
I do. Realtors are like feral cats, and to be able to pull them into my agreement and put them, you know, in a direction for success has been very rewarding for me.
That's hilarious. I like how you're the feral cat. That's awesome. Now, when we met, you were currently the team leader at the time, and one of your jobs is working with the agents and trying to, again, you know, one, recruit, but two, start helping them be successful. And that's kind of something you've been doing for a while. In fact, you were a realtor back in the day yourself,
Back in the day, yes, I was. I was a real estate agent back in 2007, and I did very well with that, and I marketed myself as Hot Rod Realtor.
A Hot Rod Realtor.
Hot Rod Realtor. Well, I had a lot of old cars, collector cars, like a 37 blown Chevy and a couple of old Corvettes and old trucks and things like that. So I would go to all the trade shows that were sort of around the car theme, and I would always have a booth there, have some wine, have some beer, and bring some people in and get to know my peeps. So it was very, very organic the way I met people, and people would say, Jill, why are you at a car show? Well, because I'm Hot Rod Realtor. I love the cars, so I actually belong here. So I was successful with that, and I was always getting on radio, on television, in newspaper. At the time, newspaper was a pretty big deal way back in 2007.
No comment.
I know. And so people kept on asking me, Jill, how are you doing this? Like, how are you being so successful? And how are you getting all this exposure? So I just very organically got into coaching and consulting, and realtors were in my first initial circle. And now I've moved into larger corporations that I'm working with right now. I still have a couple realtors that I'm working with, and they're very high level, and do some consulting with them, typically on maybe a 4 times a year basis, just to make sure that they're sticking to the path that I've put them on.
Right, keeping them on track, make sure they're doing what they're supposed to do.
Yeah. So you had mentioned to me that you have that social media coach, Carlos.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah, and
Carlos was actually just on the podcast for everyone listening, so you can check that out a couple episodes ago.
Fun. And he had said to you, Cam, you need to start this podcast, right? And then you've stuck to it, and you're, you know, that's from his impetus to know that this will get you into different places that you've never been to before, right? So what I love to hear as a coach, as a business coach, is that people are following the lead of someone who's found success in an area, and then you keep on, you know, replicating that and doing it again and again, because you are looked at as a knowledgeable leader, and the more you cement yourself in this, the more people are going to follow you and actually heed your advice. So congratulations to you on continuing this.
I appreciate it. Thanks so much, Jill.
Yeah.
Now, going back a little bit, again, when we first started to chat and meet, you know, you were kind of working with realtors on a traditional basis.
Yeah.
Right? So that was traditional real estate, buying, selling, all that stuff. And I know when we got together, all of a sudden, you know, we had some deep conversations about the investment side of things that we've been doing, and all the investor, like flipping and rental properties and things like that. Has that translated into some of the work you've been doing since then?
Absolutely. We have to be very fluid as a coach, right? So for me, in the real estate, I know I didn't completely answer your question before. In working with realtors, realtors, again, they're feral cats and like shiny things, and you have to really keep them focused on certain things, and also brokerage owners. And unfortunately, a lot of people think it's just going to be an easy button, but you have to diversify. Everyone knows with investments and with life and with money, you need to diversify with it. So as realtors, people need to understand that there's the typical home buyers, and then there's the investors, and then there's, everything else, business people, so many categories. And so you have to be able to, especially in this market, a lot of $10 million to $15, $20 million homes aren't selling very quickly. So you have to be able to diversify. And I was telling some of my realtors, over 2 years ago, saying, you guys, you need to start to diversify, get some investors, go out to the valley. If people don't think that they can afford to buy in the area that they want to, say Vancouver, because of the market, then get them to buy out in the valley as an investment property until they can increase their monetary value of the house and their equity, and then down the road they'll be able to buy in the area that they want to live. So again, it's just being intelligent with how you're coaching your clients and letting them know that there's other opportunities. And if they're so focused on no, I want to buy in Vancouver, well, buddy, you can't afford to buy in Vancouver. So let's be smart about this. Get you into the market, buy out in the valley somewhere, and build your equity up, and then boom, 5 years down the road, you can afford to potentially buy in Vancouver. Right?
I'm a fan of suggesting to clients, if you really want to live in Vancouver, especially if you're young, blah, 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 still buy at these rental properties. So again, same thing you said, you're in the market, you're gaining cash flow, you've got that tenant paying down your mortgage, so that all of a sudden they're paying for your lifestyle downtown or wherever you want to live in Vancouver, right?
Absolutely.
And then two, you can then maximize. Maybe you can get 2 or 3 with the same qualification. You could get 1 in maybe Burnaby, right? So now you're really maximizing. Now, working with realtors, this is something that I've noticed is realtors really like to be very set. So when you're talking to realtors about saying, work with these investor clients, get them to start looking further out, do you get any kickback on that? Being like,
all the time.
I don't want to leave New West or Burnaby. Abbotsford's too far away, because I see it all the time.
Yeah.
So how do you handle that conversation with your clients when they want to be so set in an area?
Well, first of all, I don't usually accept clients that are like that, because if they're really set, then I can't coach them because they're uncoachable, and I've had to fire some people. And some people we've come to a mutual agreement that we just depart ways. The biggest thing is understanding that you have to be open to other possibilities. So if someone was to say that to me, say in a group setting, I'm like, oh, so do you have enough money in your bank right now? Are you making enough money? Like, are you going to retire tomorrow? No. Well, then why aren't you looking at other opportunities? Right. So you have to, it's in the way I'm doing a talk on being disruptive and being a hustler on Thursday night at the Whiskey Wiseman, and for the Women of Influence series. And we're talking about being disruptive. And the biggest thing is pulling someone into agreement. We have thought leaders, which are awesome and amazing thought leaders. But what about thought changers?
Right.
That's a true person of distinction, as well as someone who can really disrupt life, right? So when we can change someone's way of thinking, that's when you actually have the power in the conversation. So first of all, it's bringing them into that agreement to say, okay, so you should be doing this, getting your clients out to the valley, and this is why. And you know what, if you're ahead of your competition, you're going to be the one that's owning that, and you're going to be able to build a team. And guess what? Send Bob, Joe, and Sally out to the valley, get them to sell for you, because they're looking and they're hot for new business. And then you can continue to build your team where you want to. It's exactly the same analogy, Cam, as someone buying out in the valley, right? When they can't afford to live in Vancouver. Same thing. Okay, well, if you can afford, and of course a realtor can afford to have like a buyer's agent work with them and send them out to the valley, because they're not paying anything out of pocket right now, right? So get a good team that you can maximize and send them out to the valley, and then you've got a new business model.
Absolutely.
Right? Yeah.
One thing that I experimented with this last summer and actually allowed me to make way more money was using just showing assistant model, right? I was paying agents just 10% of my commission just to take the client out. I'd step back in, I'd do the contracts, the negotiating, arranging the inspection, but I didn't have to go show the properties. Especially when you got those clients that want to see like 50, right? That's a lot of time that is taking away from me finding more business. So there's so many different ways that you can structure and leverage.
Leverage. Well, first of all, I would back up on that, Cam, a little bit, and I would say, okay, well, first of all, you have to have a deeper dive conversation with your clients. And when I would when I was still selling, my buyers, I would average, it's weird how this averages, but 1.5 showings for them until they bought.
Yeah.
Because what I would do is and I'm going to use this example on someone else's podcast, but if someone was looking for a townhome out in Langley area, and they wanted both eastern view of the sunset and then the western view, right? And I thought, okay, well, that's not very easy to find. Like, oh my God, and a corner unit. Okay, wow. So what my parameters were very, very specific. So I didn't waste my time going to all these other showings. So the time I spent was on the computer. And then finally, when I found something, I think I showed them literally 2 places.
Right.
And then they bought.
That's fantastic.
So why would I waste my time being a taxi driver, right? So for me, it's pulling them into agreement and understanding exactly what they want. I always ask the question, what are you use 3 to 5, 3 to 5 must-haves. You must have this. And what are your 3 to 5 must not haves? Right? And then it's easy. And then what I would do is I would, on my listing papers, I would literally bring my listing papers because it's very effective. And we'd go into a house and I would say between 1 and 10, 10 meaning we're going to put an offer on it this second, 1 meaning get me the heck out of here. What would you rate this? It's a 6. Okay. And you'd rip it up in front of them.
Right.
It is so powerful.
I've done something similar where I go to the first house and I say, okay, this is going to be our base. We're going to compare everything off this. And if we find one that's better, that one's out. So same thing. We rip it out of the pile, crumple it up, make that visualization. We're not talking about that one ever again.
Yeah.
So by the time we get to the end of our showing, we've got 1 page left.
Yeah.
And so then it says, okay, well, this one's been the best one we've found. It hit X number of check marks. Is there any reason we wouldn't put an offer on it today?
Yeah.
Right. And I found that one's been very effective, kind of similar, that rating, just rip it out and get that visualization. It's out of there. Forget it. Right.
Yeah.
And I found with my normal home buyers, that one's been very effective for me, paring it down.
Absolutely.
Right? So,
yeah.
And if you can take them out once and write an offer.
Yeah.
Boom.
And also, you
also
have to have that conversation of expectations. So I would always say to my clients, okay, so what I do as a realtor is I'm a professional realtor and I make sure that I am doing all of the beforehand things for you. I'm going to only show you properties that I know that you're going to be very, very interested in. There's going to be like an 8 or a 9. Okay. So don't be surprised when we put an offer in. So they had that expectation. And a couple of them had said to me, oh, before when we were with another realtor, we were going away or around for like 3 or 4 months. I'm like, okay, well, how'd you like that process? We didn't. I'm like, awesome, because that's not the way I work. I work with my clients in mind and I want to maximize their time. I don't want to waste your time. Why would I want to waste your time, right?
For sure.
Yeah. For sure. And then also another point is when you're going in and they're saying it's a 7 or an 8. Okay, what would make it a 10?
Right.
What would make it a 10? Sometimes it's as easy as the paint color.
Right.
And you're like, okay, back of your mind.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And then sometimes it's something as simple you can throw in a negotiation for the contract too. Right,
exactly.
To pump it up. So
yeah. So it's being smart about it. But again, it's finding out what your client truly, truly wants, and it's speaking to them how they need to listen.
Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Makes total sense.
Yeah.
Makes total sense. So again, you've been coaching now for a while. You've got several realtors that you coach with, several big businesses, but you're also an author as well. So I know you've got 1 book out already. 2 books out now. Yeah. Okay, and you're about to do your 3rd then.
I've already finished my 3rd. It's at the publishers right now.
Excellent. Let us know a little bit about it. What's coming down the pipeline for Jill?
Coming down the pipeline for Jill Sinclair. It is a business book, because it's about darn time I wrote one, called Hustler Sophisticate.
The Hustler Sophisticate.
Hustler Sophisticate. And it is what I call the Pocket Hustle Edition. It is not your typical shelf help book where you know how people buy a book and then they read maybe 3 or 4 chapters, they put it on a shelf. It is something that is easily consumable and you can put it into action right away. Because, I've been in the industry. I was licensed in 2007 and I've always been in sales and marketing, right? So a sale is a sale is a sale, no matter if it's a house, an organ, whatever. Not an organ in your body, but but it's
those things can be sold too.
They can be sold in the black market, but let's be clear, I do not sell those. Okay, right. But it's very interesting because it's not rocket science, and we're all saying very similar things. The people that are writing these motivational books and these business books, but it's who's retaining it and who's actually putting it into use. Right? I don't want to waste a bunch of time on this. I'm like, okay, you guys, this is what you need to do. Now just go do it. Do you need another book? No, you don't.
No.
But
take this concept, put it into action.
Go. Yeah. Don't waste my time, right? So my biggest thing is getting into action. I say get out of your head and onto the pavement with everything in life. And Cam, do you know how many people have said to me in the last 3 years that they want to write a book? I can't even count.
Oh, for sure.
Like over 50 people.
I know quite a few people myself.
Yeah. And I'm like, okay, well, why don't you? Oh. And then they give me like this laundry list of excuses. I'm like, well, you don't really want to write a book. Oh, I do. I'm like, no, you don't. Oh, I do. No, you don't. If you wanted to write a book,
you've done it already.
You would have done it already, right? Yeah. And so for me, that's life.
For sure.
Everything. If you tell me you want something, show me.
Yeah.
Right? It's like the reverse of show me, don't tell me, right? Like show and tell when you're a kid. Now I want you to show me, don't tell me. Because if you're not doing the activities, if you've hired me as a coach, if you're not doing the activities I've asked you to do, well, it won't be a long relationship, but also you're not going to get the results.
Right.
So it's all about, your ambition, your motivation. What is your motivation? What is your why? Do you really, truly want this? Is this something that you have a burning desire? When I jump out of bed every morning, like I have a burning desire to go speak and to finish my book and to coach my clients. I love so desperately what I do. It's just, it's crazy. Like I have such a passion around it and it just helps in life. Like why wouldn't people want to do what they love to do?
Well, exactly. And then it's no longer work.
Yeah.
Right. You're excited for your day.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think realtors, this is a great vehicle, but in all honesty, one of my mentors always said, it's what real estate can do for me, but it's not real estate itself, right? So you've got to find out what that why is that you're using the business as real estate, because this can be a frustrating business at times. There's so many things that come up. But again, if you've got that strong why as to why you're doing the business, not the business itself necessarily, but why you're doing it, you'll be excited and you'll get those results and you'll be wanting to work and talk to people.
Exactly.
And I think that's a key thing. You hit the nail on the head. Like, what is that why?
Yeah.
And maybe for you, maybe real estate's not the vehicle to get you towards that why. Maybe it is. It really depends on who you are and what you've dialed in as to what is going to motivate you, right? So
exactly. And the why is the purpose or intent, right? So why are you doing something? What is the purpose behind you doing it? What is your intention behind doing it? And a lot of people say, well, I want to make, and it's so funny. Ask any realtor, like just try this when you get some new realtors in your thing. How much money do you want to make if they're brand new? $100,000. Okay, where'd you come up with that number? Right? They just $100,000, and then someone that's been in the business.
Number, they think.
I know, and then 2 years into the business, I want to make $500,000. Okay, so why do you want to make $500,000? But when you go into like the why, the real why behind it, they want to take holidays with their family. They want to build those memories with their family, or they want to get into investment. They want to have a legacy. They want to do, and the other whys are going to be the compelling factor. The money's not going to necessarily be the factor. It's in your mind, but you have to work backwards from it and say, okay, so if my motivation is to take my family on holidays twice a year, and I tell little Bobby Sue that, Mommy or Daddy, we're going to take you on this holiday, and then all of a sudden you don't make your calls, you don't follow up, you don't make that money, well, you're not only disappointing yourself, you're disappointing your entire family, right? And now Bobby Sue is going to have to go into counseling because she's never been on holidays, right? But again, it's compelling and uncovering exactly what that is, because then you have a clear vision of what that is. Like with me, I do want a legacy. I want people to say, okay, Jill was a thought changer, not just a thought leader, but a thought changer. And she was kind and she helped people. That's what I'm put on the earth to do, is to help people to get beyond their success blockers and to really step into their brilliance, right? So, and there's so many ways of doing that, and being called to be a speaker, as you know, because you're also a speaker.
Yes. Yep.
And it's never about us on stage at all. It's about them. It's about the people that are in the audience, and what message are we going to share that's going to compel them to action or to an emotion. And then the action.
What's the final impact that you're going to leave them with to better their own lives, right? So,
exactly. And the same with coaching, and same with you with your clients. It's never about us. It's about the other person, and what am I bringing to the table that's going to put them in a better position for their success.
Yes, absolutely. 100% agree with that.
Yeah.
So going back to the book a little bit, so we got Hustler Sophisticate coming out, but it's not just the book alone. There's something else coming up.
I know people love it when I do that really bad high note. Well, I'm so glad you asked, Cam Manning.
Excellent.
Well,
what's going on with Hustler Sophisticate?
Hustler Sophisticate is a speaker series that I'm going to be taking across North America. And the first Hustler Sophisticate is going to be on March 15th. And Ryan Serhant, the star of TV's $1 Million Listing New York, and also the author of Sell It Like Serhant, is going to be our keynote speaker. So I'm stoked about that.
Oh, me too.
Today, which is Tuesday, what's the date? February 19th. Ryan just posted yesterday that he's coming to Vancouver.
I did see that on his Instagram.
Yes,
Absolutely.
yes,
So
and he's super excited.
the news is out there now.
It is.
That's
So,
awesome.
so we're looking to sell out. There's only 200 tickets that we've made available, and we're about halfway through that. And then
Right.
we've also got a cocktail party that's going to be right after that. That everyone that comes to the cocktail party gets a photo
Yeah.
with Ryan.
Yeah. Right.
And then we have VIP tickets for a dinner, and we've only got 2 tickets left for the dinner.
Excellent.
And that's going to give people an intimate conversation with Ryan as well as the sponsors, and also a video with Ryan.
Awesome.
So again, it's all about perception, Cam. Like for people to get photos and also videos with Ryan, people are like, oh, you know Ryan? It elevates your game.
Absolutely.
It absolutely elevates your game. So for me to be able to speak on the same stage as Ryan is going to elevate my game as an executive coach and also as a speaker. So looking to take this in everywhere, really. I mean, I've had people reach out to me from Scottsdale, Arizona, from Toronto, from Winnipeg, from Edmonton, saying, Jill, will you bring someone here? Like, help us to grow and help us to, be a part of your movement. Because Hustler Sophisticate is becoming a movement.
That's awesome.
And I love it. I love it. I love it. Yeah.
Exciting.
Yeah. And now the name came from, I had a conversation with a gentleman that was a client of mine. I'm working on this event with him, Sean Zubor. I think you know him.
I do, yeah.
And so we had the conversation about, who are we in business? We're change makers, we're thought changers, we're all these kind of things. And I'm like, yeah, we're hustlers. And he's like, yeah, we're hustlers. But we're sophisticated. I'm like, and so all of a sudden, Hustler Sophisticates.
Sophisticate. There you go.
Yeah. So
Fantastic.
it's very exciting. And again, whenever big changes happen, it's about a movement. You hear Gary Vee.
Yeah.
You're a big fan of his as well.
fan.
And you've
Yeah.
met him a couple times too, right?
I haven't met him, no.
Oh, okay.
But I've got some contacts that hopefully if I can work it,
Yeah.
that might be an opportunity there.
Oh, he's awesome. So I've met him a couple times, and he is such a great speaker because he's so just raw and real.
It's amazing.
And he's just a great guy, and he's a hustler. He's an absolute, actually his, I get his emails. I don't know if it's on the every other week or whatever, or every week. And it's actually called the Hustler's Digest.
Yeah, I got that too.
Yeah. And so for him, and what's that book of Jab,
Jab, right hook.
Yeah, amazing.
Phenomenal
Because
book.
again, it's not rocket science, but it's just ingraining in us what we need to do, and it's all about being consistent and all about being persistent, all about just going and getting it. Because whether we succeed or whether we fail, it's up to us and us alone.
What I really like about that book, Jab, right hook, is it's also about the consistency and the persistence. One of my old coaches, consistent, persistent. But what I like about that too is it's jab is value, and the right hook is the sales.
Yeah.
But you can't get the sale unless you've given value to whether it's your clients, your customers, whatever.
Yeah.
And that's what I love about that book. It's like everything you put out, and that's why we do this podcast, is just another value add. I'm trying to bring awesome speakers like Jill here to provide more value, right? So yeah, you got to put value. Come in for your sale if you need it, right?
Yeah.
So,
and everyone uses a different sort of terminology, I think, with that. And when I speak with my clients, no matter if they're big corporations or one-on-ones, and I say to them, you know what, come from a place of contribution. Oh, Jill, whatever. I'm like, no, I promise you this will work every time. Come from a place of contribution, right? Yeah. So there was a gentleman I reached out to. I had a social event on a yacht. Last September.
Right.
And it was called Smoke on the Water. So it was scotch and cigars on a yacht. And who doesn't like that, right?
No kidding.
So I reached out to a gentleman on social media, and I DM'd him. I'm like, hi, I'm Jill, and I'm doing this, and you look like you'd be a really great fit for this. Anyways, turns out that very, very, very astute businessman, and now he's become a bit of a client and also a friend, and he's put me in touch with so many people, so I've been able to leverage that. But that's what I do when I reach out to people, is I'm giving, because it was exclusive, invitation only for this event. So when I tapped him on the shoulder, he's like, wow, oh my God. And then he came to the event, he's like, oh, I've never been to an event like this. It's amazing. Like the best event I've been to in Vancouver ever. I'm like, okay, wow, that's huge, huge. And now he's a big believer in me and what value I bring to him. So for me, again, I was give. Yeah. And now, it's back and forth. And so it's very reciprocal, right?
Absolutely.
And again, that's what it is giving, right? And it comes back. And if it's not going to be a fit because they're not part of your tribe, that's okay. Yep. Just step aside and go back in your lane, right?
Exactly. Exactly.
So, yeah, it's very exciting.
I love that.
Yeah, so with Hustler Sophisticate, so March 15th, the speaker series registration starts at 9 a.m. And the speaker series starts at 9:30 and goes till 3:30. And then the cocktail party is from 3:45 to 5:30, and that's going to be held at Bentley.
Right.
And then the VIP dinner, I'm not letting anyone know.
Yeah, because you don't want anyone crashing that party.
I do not. Exactly. You know where I'm coming from, buddy. Yeah, so that's going to be amazing, right? So, and again, if people, or when people want to buy tickets, go online, go to Eventbrite, look up Hustler Sophisticate, and for a 25% off code, use the word Sophisticate. Sophisticate, and get those tickets. Yeah, because we're definitely going to be selling out, like you said, with Ryan doing the post yesterday on LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram.
He had hundreds of comments just within minutes of posting that.
I know.
Oh, can you come to Edmonton? Can you come? Like, people are now realizing that there's an opportunity. So, and I mean, the ticket prices are super reasonable.
Yeah.
And, you know, for a chance to meet someone who could impact your business, like, that's going to be phenomenal. I've been following his vlog and read his book, and I'm super pumped. And if you haven't already realized, I've got tickets to the event, guys. So
he does, and he has got VIP seating. He
Awesome.
is going to be in the first 2 rows, and you're also going to be the first person to ask Ryan a question.
Which I'm super stoked, and I was just sitting there like scratching my head. I got to come up with a good question now.
You do. But what's nice about this too is you actually are going to be able to get someone to videotape that for you, right? So you know, get both of these cameras happening and make sure that you get that on all of your social media.
I've got a friend joining me, so I'll hand it off, and
Nice.
absolutely, that'll be part of my vlog for sure. Going to that event, so.
And then also the other people, you know, as iron sharpens iron, so one man sharpens another, and then being there with people that are like-minded that want to grow. And I mean, like you said, people are so excited, Cam, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, like how is this happening? He's coming to town." I'm like, yes, he is. And so again, building that movement and saying, you know what, we've got this. And people, when you're being a solution provider, as we all are in life, right? You look at what's missing.
Yeah.
What is something that we need to provide that people want, or they perceive that they want? Well, apparently there's a need for someone like Ryan and other speakers like that to be coming to these areas. And so for us to be able to provide that is very exciting for me.
You kind of talked about that there. It's bringing speakers to events like this and to like markets like this. I don't think Canada, maybe Toronto because they're close to New York, we don't get enough of this real big speakers coming up here. Like you don't see Gary Vaynerchuk coming up to Vancouver too often.
Not much,
You know, so being someone that's now going to take this series, you've got that platform. You can bring these speakers that can help benefit business owners in Vancouver. Because hey, we're a big center up here. So
we are, darn it.
We got to put our foot down and get more speakers up here. But yeah, no, that's super exciting. I'm pumped for the event. And again, so you know, I'm going to link the Eventbrite in the show notes. So if anyone is wanting to go and get tickets, make sure you hit up that link. And again, if you want 25% off, the word is
Sophisticate.
So
make sure you look up the dictionary so you spell it correctly.
Right. Or no 25% off.
No deal for you.
No deal for you. So guys, go down to the show notes. Make sure you get your tickets. This is going to be on March 15th. This is a must-see event. You don't want to miss this.
Yeah.
As soon as I saw, actually, Jill was very nice and actually reached out to me way back in December.
Yeah.
I was like, hey, FYI. And so, I mean, I jumped on the opportunity. I got my tickets right away for myself and my friend. So don't miss this opportunity. Make sure you get your tickets. That's all I can say to that, because it's just kicking a dead horse. If you don't want to do it, don't do it then.
Don't do it.
That's
It's an amazing. Again, to have this, such an intimate setting, only 200 people are coming to see Ryan, right? And so to be able to have that time with him, I mean, he is a business leader, and this really is a once in a lifetime opportunity, right? So again, wanting to provide that again and again, and looking to potentially have one event per year in Vancouver, but then also take it to the other cities. Like I said, I've had Arizona reach out to me. I've had LA, Toronto, Winnipeg, Edmonton, and so
Winnipeg in the summer at least, right?
Oh well, there's mosquitoes, aren't there? I don't know.
True. You either got snow or the skeeters.
Well, I'll probably take the skeeters because then at least they won't stop the planes from flying, right?
True.
But again, looking at
bug spray.
I know lots of bug spray. I've been there, and those mosquitoes, they can take you down and back home to your mother, right? It's crazy.
They're huge.
So, but again, looking at what is the gap and what are people wanting, and then provide that for them, and be that resource for them. So,
it's amazing. I'm super excited for you.
Yeah.
All right. Moving forward from that, we're getting towards the end here of our time, but I always throw it out there. What is one book recommendation that if someone wants to get in, and now we know we got Hustler Sophisticate coming out, but what's a book that's impacted you recently that you think a reader should be getting into their repertoire, one that's going to help them propel their business, again, if they take action on the concepts that are provided?
Yeah, when they take action on the concepts, absolutely. Yeah. So, of course, being the Hustler Sophisticate Speaker Series with Ryan coming up, would be Sell It Like Sirhan.
Sell It Like Sirhan.
And it's not just for realtors, it's for everyone that's in sales or everyone in business, because it's the same concept.
Yep.
You know, when you are deciding where to go for lunch with your friends, you're selling them on, I want the pho, I want the sushi, I want this. You're literally trying to sell them into what you want, right? So everyone in life, you're selling, you guys. Everyone's selling something to someone. So you have to be able to learn how to pull people into your agreement and be effective with it and do well. Yes. Right, so Sell It Like Sirhan is definitely one of those books.
I'll back that one up, and I'll even throw one further. If you can listen to Sell It Like Sirhan on audio, Ryan actually narrates it himself, and you hear the passion when he's talking about it. He gets super excited, and I think I just saw that he launched 4 or 5 more chapters on the audio version.
Yeah, he did.
So you know, if you decide to go with the audio side of things, you're going to get a lot more content and a lot more action items than just reading the book. But I do highly recommend that book. Is fantastic. Do both. Read it, absorb it, and listen to it on your drives. So
absolutely
awesome. And Hustler Sophisticate, do you have any links or anything coming up, or anything that we can push out on the show notes as well?
Well, same thing. So Hustler Sophisticate on Eventbrite. Just look up Hustler Sophisticate. Do the promo code Sophisticate.
Oh, sorry, I'm saying for the book. Is there?
Oh, my book. Sorry, I thought you meant
no
the thing. So my book, it's at the publishers right now as we speak. So it will definitely be available on Amazon. And you know what? That's actually the best forum to get it into everyone's hands is Amazon right away, and then it will be available at Chapters Indigo down the road as well.
Amazing.
So very fun, But that will be ready for sure by March 15th. So excellent. I will keep uploaded in my social media feeds. So Ms. Jill Sinclair, MS Jill Sinclair on Instagram, and I'll let you know when that is ready to go live.
Perfect.
Boom. Yeah, and I'll also be voicing that myself.
Awesome. I can't wait.
Bouncing off the walls.
I'll be listening to that one.
Oh.
Okay, so finally, so you mentioned your Instagram, Ms. Jill Sinclair. What are the other ways that someone can reach out to you if they're looking for coaching, if they want other access to just advice or anything that you're throwing out there? Where can people find you?
I have a website, Sinclair Success Strategies, which
Success Strategies.
I love the S's. Sinclair Success Strategies is where you can find out a lot of information on me, and basically what I do kind of breaks it down. And then on Facebook, it's Jill Sinclair Entertainment, and also Sinclair Success Strategies. And looking to compile that at one point, because really this is who I am. You know, I'm not a separate person with my coaching and my personal life. It's bring it all into one. But it's kind of interesting because you have people saying one thing or another thing, but to find everything out about me, Ms. Jill Sinclair on Instagram is the best. But that's where to go.
And I will tell you, she is very active on Instagram. Like her and I see all the time. She says the same thing. She's like, I see you all the time on Instagram. So definitely go check her out. She's got a lot of videos she posts up regularly, trying to give advice, everything like that.
On the real regular, yes.
On the real reg, you betcha. So ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. Thank you, Jill, for coming out today. We had to brave some snow today, but hey, I appreciate you. Thanks for coming out today. If you're looking to engage more with the Manning Up on Real Estate methodology, make sure you check me out also on YouTube, youtube.com/Cameron Manning. And you can also engage with me using the hashtag ManningUpRE. ManningUpRE on Twitter and Instagram. You can ask me questions, anything like that. I'll be answering for you guys. Or if you're listening here on the Anchor app, you can actually phone me, leave a voicemail, and maybe in one of my future ones, I can actually answer your voicemails live through the Anchor app. So again, Jill, thank you so much. I appreciate you being here.
Thanks, buddy.
And thank you everyone for listening. We'll see you next time.